Greetings everyone, Battery H here with another episode of Road to Ruin, number 5. I know what you're thinking. Didn't you just do one of these last weekend? You're right, I know. We did one of these last week, but I wanted to finish up this particular journey before we ran off back to the United States and more interstate adventures, so don't fret, they'll be returning next week. In the meantime, we're continuing to take our load of canned iced coffee to Lille, and we'll talk about Lille a little bit in a little bit here, but in the first part of this journey, let's just enjoy the roads of France as we make our way to the northern border, and we'll see you shortly. Okay, well, we're well on our way to Lille. It's hard to believe that it is the 4th largest city in France. And it was settled as early as 2000 BC. Yeah, it's that history time. And we're going to go over some of the old stuff. There wasn't a whole lot we can tell about the area until we get to around 839, 10 AD, when the Viking incursions and the Norman conquest and everything started happening through the area. It led to a lot of upheaval, and eventually population settled back down again over the next few hundred years. As when we talked about some of the other cities here in France, it was part of the area claimed by England. And following the death of King Henry II of England, Lille and its leaders joined up with King John in an attempt to gain back some of the lands that had been seized by Philip II. However, in 1214, a loss at the Battle of Bouvienne led to Count Ferdinand of Lille. He was imprisoned. And what was interesting was that his wife, Joanne, the Countess of Flanders, would then lead the city of 10,000 until her death in 1244, and she was pretty universally beloved. So you see some early concepts of, the French following female leadership. We think about Joan of Arc and everything that way, but here's some real people that had a notable impact on folks' lives and led their cities to prosperity. However, by the 16th and 17th centuries, the area had grown considerably. It was a center of textile and trade, and because of its ties to both England and to France, there was a number of back and forth battles and Protestant revolts against Catholic rule and vice versa. Eventually, the city area revolted from French rule in 1581, completely joining with England in Low Provinces in an attempt to reject Catholic authority. They wished to remain under Protestant rule. However, in 1668, Louis XIV, the Sun King, would reestablish French rule and Catholic rule over the area after besieging Lille for some time. And it would remain in French rule not actually for very long. In the War of Spanish Succession, the city would fall back under control of the Dutch. The War of Spanish Succession is the war that gives us the Netherlands and those, this is more for my friends in America here who don't do a lot of English and French and European history in general. We tend to think of these things as being static and belonging to these countries almost from the get-go, but this is one of those. Lille is one of those border cities that changes hands a number of times. Eventually, however, the city would be reclaimed by the French once again, and by the 1800, the city numbered 53,000, had a large industrial base that only expanded with the Industrial Revolution. They worked mostly textiles from wool in the area, and once coal became important with the advent of the steam engine, things really picked up. There were large numbers of clubs and meeting houses, and the populations had a lot of activity as well as work. So you could work very hard and then relax. It said at one point there was one pub or group activity, meeting house kind of thing for every 3 houses in the city center. And the eve of World War I, the city had numbered as much as 217,000 people. Now, World War I is going to be a defining moment for the city here. You're going to see big changes. We're going to talk about that later, but the mining and textile industries continued to dominate through that period. Well, we are just about at our destination. Right around the corner here, really. So let's get this bad boy in and parked, and we will finish with the story of Lille on another time, I think, because it does fall under German occupation in World War I, and events transpire. So yeah, this city has got quite the history to it. Okay, let's swing in here. See where they want this trailer. I don't really have a whole lot of time, so I think we're just going to park it up along the side. And we're getting close to needing some sleep anyway, so I think that's where we're going to end things. Once we get this bad boy parked, we'll take it over to a place where we can get some sleep. Here we go. Keep smacking that brake system. And come on. There we go. Let's disconnect this bad boy. Oh, very nice. We've earned a little bit of money. We've gotten another half a level. And since we're not going to take a delivery from here, we can go find that wonderful place to park. Does look very, very nice. Okay. Let's wheel out of here. And there's there's a mechanic shop. We can get a short nap there, I guess. So I guess our next stuff is going to be probably close to being in the evening, which will make for an interesting journey. Won't be able to see nearly as many sights, but it ought to be just as fun. I just want to say, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you're enjoying the little history tidbits I have. If there's something you'd like me to cover, if there's a mistake I made, please leave a comment below. Otherwise, we all know the usual, gently caress that like button. You don't need to smash it, guys. We don't need to be violent here with that. Subscribe if you haven't. Tell your friends about it. We enjoy helping this channel grow. This year's Extra Life, for those of you who don't know, I belong to an organization called Extra Life. We raise money for sick and injured kids. This year's Extra Life has done phenomenally well so far. You'll see links to those things below, and the hospital I raise money for. So try and check that out as well if you could. That would be great for the channel, and I thank you very much. It's one of the reasons I continue to bring content here, because I enjoy doing it, and because occasionally, just occasionally, one of you comes out and helps out. So thank you all so very much for watching. We'll pick this up, in a couple of weeks, probably. Next week we should have an episode of American Truck Simulator Interstate Adventures. Until then, everybody, I wish you a great day, and be sure to drive safe out there, everyone.